Today we're going to be making a new firewood holder. Now I have a perfectly good firewood holder currently, looks a little something like this. But as I look at it, I made it fairly quickly. I used some old barrel parts that I made a few other projects out of, and it's really not my favorite. The gap that it has allows the wood to damage the wall if I'm not being extremely careful when I put it in there. So I think I can do better. And as I sit and I enjoy my fireplace, I had some thoughts about what would ideally look like a firewood holder, at least in my situation. I scoured the internet and I was dissatisfied with anything that I saw. So I came up with a concept of my own, and I think it'll be pretty cool. It looks a little something like this. Now, it might not make sense to you right now. It looks like the drawings of a mad person, perfectly understandable. But my concept is I'm going to use that repeating pattern in the form of rebar attached to a steel plate to form 3 walls. So walls on three sides, the 4th wall being open so that I can slide the firewood into that, and then paint it to make it look like there are trees in the background. So, as I've said in a lot of my other videos, I have no idea what it is that I'm doing because I've never done this before. I only have the concept, and I think it works in my head, but we will find out together whether it will actually turn into something usable and awesome, or if it'll just be a bunch of scrap metal at the end. So there's going to be lots of cutting involved, there's going to be a lot of welding involved, and then I'm going to paint it to try to make it look pretty. So join me in finding out whether this thing turns out awesome or otherwise. Okay, first things first, let's prepare the base. I've got a 16-inch square flat piece of plate steel here. It's a little bit over 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's not going to bend or flex. It's quite a hardy chunk of metal. But it came from my favorite metal place, Speedy Metals in New Berlin. If you're in the Milwaukee area and need metals, huge fan. They don't pay me to say that, but I sure do like their customer service and I like their products, so there you go. First thing I need to do though is clean this up, so I'm just going to use a quick strip disc on my grinder to polish that up so I have a nice working surface and a base to build off of. Okay, we got a clean looking foundation now. 2 schools of thought of how I wanted to proceed. One is build the pattern out of rebar, cut each piece independently, and then this is my welding table right here. Weld it flat on the table, and then weld it to the frame in the locations that make sense, and make 3 sides and then weld each side to the frame. The other school of thought is to just weld it in situ. So instead of welding it flat on the table and then moving over to the base, is actually just starting on one corner of the base, build it up, build it over, and then just build it on the base in real time. I think I like that better. I'm gonna have a little bit of difficulty making sure that it's square or completely vertical, I guess. I'll find a way to overcome that, and we'll figure it out together. But for now, the next step is cutting a boatload of rebar. That is 60 feet of rebar you see there. And they're gonna have to be cut into 16-inch chunks and less, all the way down to about 1/2 inch worth of chunks in many different locations. So each piece has to be cut, each piece has to be polished, and then each piece has to be welded on to this out of focus, soon we are in focus, flat plate here. So with that understanding of the monotony that is to come, please bear with me, and we will see, there we go, we will see how this all turns out. Okay, quick progress report. I have welded together a box and I have some of my verticals for the trunks of the trees already installed. Got a bunch more to do, and then cutting all the branches is gonna take a tremendously long time, and there's gonna be a heinous amount of cutting. So I'll see if I can speed that up and move that along, since it'll probably be, I'm gonna guess 6 hours or so of just cutting metal and then hopefully welding it all together. So we'll see how she goes. Okay, I had a little bit of hammered copper colored paint left. I thought that would be neat for the main stems of the tree, and now I'm gonna paint this around black and all the branches green. Here it is, all finished, live and in action, holding firewood, doing its job. Comes in at 41.5 pounds, a beast of a lot of metal, with about 50 feet of rebar. Turned out pretty cool and far superior to what used to be here. So, with that, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, make sure you like and subscribe, and tune in next week to see what I'm up to.